o'clock. Radio Scotland News with Graham Anderson. Two climbers who fell 200 feet on a mountain in the Lochaber area have been successfully rescued. The climbers who fell...
Last week's failure is followed by this week's success. And almost certainly, this success will be followed by further failures. For climbing is dangerous as well as popular. And as long as there are climbers, there'll be men and women ready and willing, if not always able, to rescue them.
Next week, Inside Story follows Scotland Yard's art squad across the globe on the trail of priceless stolen paintings and antiques. That's next Thursday at 10 on BBC1.
This week in intensive care, an asthma attack needs urgent attention, and so does the issue. Because the victim's a smoker, a debate begins, because that's what life's like in intensive care. Tuesdays after EastEnders.
Topical debate now on BBC1 in Question Time with David Dimbleby.
On Question Time tonight, Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Jonathan Aitken. Shadow Scottish Secretary, George Robertson. Novelist, Josephine Hart. And conservationist, Barbara Young. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Question Time. This evening we're in London and our audience here is ready as ever to put questions and to argue with the members of our panel who have not, I repeat it every week, been told the questions in advance. We have the first question from Julie Lane, who's a housewife.
Do you think that Lady Thatcher's recent comments could play a significant role in the downfall of John Major?
George Robertson.
Well, I think it's just one part of quite a thrilling soap opera that's going on just now, but it's only one part of it. What I find so remarkable about the present situation is the amnesia that seems to strike certain members of the Tory party. Mrs. Thatcher, or the Baroness, I think was it Edwina Currie who called her the Batty Baroness, you know, and wasn't somebody from the opposition, seems to forget that she was the one who took us into the exchange rate mechanism, that she was the one who gave us the Single European Act, that she was the one basically who chose John Major. She made him Foreign Secretary, then Chancellor, and he was the preferred option for Prime Minister. Now she seems to think that he can be thrown to the sharks on a Hong Kong beach and that we can start all over again. Yes, she's one symptom of a turmoil, but of course she's not the only one. This week we've seen the President of the Board of Trade, Michael Heseltine, make his bid for power. We've seen the Chancellor this morning call some of his colleagues right-wing xenophobes. This evening we're being told by backbenchers on television that there's a leadership bid. This is a party that can't run itself, never mind run the country. We don't need a new Prime Minister, we need a new government, and we need one soon.
Julie Lane, were you thinking of John Major being unseated before the next general election, or of his losing the general election because of what Mrs. Thatcher's been saying?
Certainly that there would be a leadership challenge in the autumn. That
there'd be a leadership challenge in the autumn. Josephine Hart.
Is this a direct result of what Mrs. Thatcher has said? Because I think, basically, there are many ways to play the role of Prime Minister. Mrs. Thatcher played it with brio. She was full of energy and she's very dramatic. But there are other ways to run a country which is perhaps in a sense more political, more quiet. And I think that what we're seeing here is a huge difference in style.